You asked me once about this memory. I lied. I told you it was lost. I worried the wrong lesson would be learned. But this man lived many lives, and he has much to teach us. Of course, when he came to us, he was little more than a common thief, scrambling to survive on the streets of Baghdad, dreaming of a better future. Not just for himself, but for all those he saw suffering on the margins. For while he lived in a golden age, at the heart and the height of the Abbasid Caliphate, scratch its gilded surface and you'd find a rot beneath. The order of the ancients fought to rise and spread their cruelty through the land. The hidden ones, as we were known then, resisted, striking at our enemy from the shadows, an eternal struggle. Centuries ago, he was at its heart. Basim ibn Ishaq. He honored the creed. He challenged it. So must we. We have it in all of us to mistake the shadows we walk for the light we serve. The time may come when we will be tested as he was. I fear that time is coming soon.
पर एनीवेज ये भी मेरा उतना ही खास रोल था और अब शायद ये मेरा फेवरेट होने वाला है। आई होप कि ये भी अच्छा चले। इसके साथ लेकिन एक प्रॉब्लम है कि चार्जर एप्पल ने इंक्लूड नहीं किया और प्राइसेस बहुत बढ़ा दिए हैं। अगर इसे प्राइसेस के साथ चार्जर इंक्लूड करते या फिर चार्जर का प्राइस भी इसमें इंक्लूडेड रखते तो भी एटलीस्ट सेटिस्फेक्शन रहती कि चलिए हमको चार्जर साथ में मिला है तो अभी हमको एडाप्टर खरीदना पड़ेगा लाइटनिंग के है कीमत वाली।
Easy, Basim. Was it the genie again? And what did our friend want this time?
To strip the flesh from my bone. I can still feel it.
Hardly original. You should tell it as much.
Forget the genie for...
Who for? Them again?
Come.
Duty does not fill up.
No.
I will be outside.
अनबॉक्सिंग पसंद आई होगी और अगर आपको ये वीडियो अच्छी लगी तो प्लीज इसे एक थम्स अप दीजिएगा और मेरे चैनल को जरूर सब्सक्राइब करिएगा और बेल बटन को हिट करना नहीं भूलिएगा।
The sun casts a long shadow.
Let us not keep Darwish waiting. I cannot bear another lecture.
These contracts. It is quite a few Darwish has pushed your way now.
He knows I will come through.
You have his trust. That much is clear. Do you suppose you have theirs? These shadowy types?
I should hope so by now.
Then they should show it. You take all the risk and they offer little in return.
They are liberators, Nihad, not merchants.
I know the stories. Still, the price of liberty should be enough to feed us. About this contract, I do not...
It is no inconvenience. No, but it is...
Such crowds. Something important must be happening.
The Khalifa has been summoned to the Winter Palace. It is surely his wealthy retinue that drives this crowd.
Perhaps they're in the mood to offer donations.
Ah, I see your meaning. A little sleight of hand to sharpen our wits.
If this contract will not feed us, the Khilafah might as well.
The merchant has left his purse on the table, and the easy one to begin with.
Better leave before they notice.
If there is a person, a cat, or a dog
Ready
in
yourself.
the picture, it will automatically
pick
capture
them
all
up.
the death.
A keen
it
eye
recognizes the
and an
subject.
agile
Yeah,
hand.
if there's not,
A formidable
it won't
duo.
unless you tap on something.
I want to have to test it. We're gonna have to try this stuff out. I mean, I think it'll be good. I also want to mess with the the AI so bad. Like it says, they said dogs,
There.
cats, and people.
The boys just won.
So if I get like a
He must
raccoon,
have something of value.
We're gonna get a studio
or
raccoon.
like a ferret, like something
What
close,
about like
you
a
know?
reptile, you know?
I think it would still trigger.
Yeah.
I bet if I search my
Is this gonna be a
photos for
video?
dogs- I think it'd be fun to just see how.
Just go to the zoo.
I have to see what work fine. I mean, you tap to focus on a ferret, it'll work. But like
Yeah.
if I just pointed at the ferret, well, oh, it's a cat. I want to know.
I do think we should go to the zoo. I think this is a good video. That would be a great studio.
And over
A
there,
tiger is a
by
cat,
that
but like, is that
stall,
good?
she's got some corn.
Anyway. All right, what is up, people of the internet? Welcome back to another episode of the Waveform Podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Marquez.
I'm Andrew.
And I'm David.
And if we sound a little bit different, well played. We haven't said much, but you've already picked up on the fact that we're in a different spot than usual. And if you're watching it, you can tell it looks a little bit different. That is because we are still, as we record this, out in California at Apple Park because we're a day after Apple's Wonderlust event. So we've got these nice chairs here. We've got this nice setup courtesy of Apple's podcast studio. And over here, actually, Adam and Ellis, as of right now, have twice as many microphones as usual.
We're up.
We're still going to only use one, though, even though I just broke that rule.
Yeah, they've got a podcast table. They've got the producer table over there. And we're going to have a very fun episode with a lot to talk about because, you know, there wasn't a whole ton of announcement products at the event, but there's still a lot to talk about, which is an interesting
What's
distinction.
baking?
So we'll just jump
Have you
right
grown
into
a
that
conscience?
stuff right off the top. What do you want to start with? Because I feel like
I think we have to start with what they started with, which was a quote from the man himself.
fair.
I mean, how cool is that? Here, yes. But like, they opened the event with a quote from you, and you weren't expecting that, right?
They did, yeah. So sitting in, we kind of got like separated a little bit when we went into the event.
Kind of. We were all over.
We were scattered.
I missed you guys.
I missed you
We made
too.
a rookie mistake and we came in at the back of the line. There were no like pods of seats open, so we had to take what was available. So I'm on one half, you're on another part. We're all spread out, but I'm in this like sort of front corner. And they open with this like heartfelt, you know, here's how many lives the Apple Watch has saved, sort of classic teaser for Apple moments at the beginning of keynote. Then Tim Cook comes out and immediately does the thing that Apple loves to do, which is they sort of recap some of the stuff since the last event. One of them was the MacBook Air 15 going on sale. And he goes straight into some quotes and immediately says,
And Marquez Brownlee said the 15-inch MacBook Air is going to instantly rocket to the top of the lineup to become the most popular 15-inch laptop.
at first when that happened, I was like, did I say that? Wow. Yeah, I did actually say that. It was kind of a shortened version of what I'd said in my MacBook Air 15 review. And then the other thing that happened was when they said that, he said, Marquez Brownlee said, and I felt all the eyes around me in the studio just kind of go like,
That's
just
exactly
all
what I was
look at
going to
me.
ask. How many people just swiveled in their seats to stare at you?
It was, and I was trying to like read what was happening. I was like, I did say that. Whoa.
I saw a guy in front of me take a picture of it and then immediately tweet it at you. I saw him like pull up on Twitter and then pick you and like tweet it at you. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah.
So it's kind of a full circle moment. I thought it was super cool. Obviously, it was a total surprise. I didn't know that was going to happen. But you know, we said some things about their products. They chose a quote. It was Tim Cook's reading it on stage that sort of validated it, and then my phone blew up for the next like hour.
Sure. You mentioned though on Twitter after how like a few years ago, YouTube and what you started, like you were doing, wasn't really invited to a lot of events like this, and how like not only that, but you're opening they're opening with a quote from you. Not only that, then right after Vision Pro, quotes came up. You were in there as well, talking about the Vision Pro.
Yeah.
I don't know. There were more quotes, so it was harder to see that. But
yeah, I think Justine was in there too.
Yeah,
nice again.
It's really cool. So from a point of not being invited to that to also we're sitting in a podcast studio on Apple campus, and they're helping us like film this for us in a better spot than when we've set it up in the hotel before. So like, thank you again. This is really cool. But yeah, it's come full circle.
We really are up. As else we're up. But okay, so we got a couple announcements, and by the way, this does not mean I'm going easy on any of these things. Just so
no.
I appreciate
it's a dark enough shadow that we can't see the people staring at us while we say this, so we're good. Yeah,
but we got some stuff. I mean, we made our predictions, and we'll go over those later. We knew we were going to have an iPhone. We knew we were going to have an Apple Watch. We knew some other USB related announcements would happen. What should we get through first? What do you think?
Maybe the watch?
Yeah, let's do it like how they did it. Okay. They also did, right before that, they mentioned that Vision Pro was on track for early 2024.
Yeah, they said early, which is nice.
I like early and I like on track. Those are all words we appreciate when we're trying to see things.
Better be January 1st.
I feel another because when I hear early, I think Q1 or
last day of Q1. No, last day of Q1 is my...
Okay. Yes, I think that's a good target.
May 31st, final answer.
Last Q1. Okay, it probably is. Okay, so the watches. So we got two new watches. We got Apple Watch Series 9 and Apple Watch Ultra 2. Here's the thing that struck me the most immediately was, and I was talking to you about this, David, there's no outside visual cue that you're wearing the new Apple Watch other than one new color.
Yeah, the regular Apple Watch Series 9 is now in pink.
Okay, so there's a pink one now.
But yeah, they didn't do the Ultra Black.
The Ultra looks exactly the same.
Exactly.
Titanium, same coating, same look, same shell, same size, same look. Yeah. I mean, it is a brighter display, but it looks the same. So like on the street, I would expect like maybe since there's no black version, maybe a new color button, maybe something. Nothing. Same exact look.
And so if you've seen selling the original
if I am seen, I will have to flee.
So
good thing I can
what's
outrun
new?
These sagging
Internally, under the hood, the biggest update is the S9 System on a Chip, or SIP as I would call it.
It's so funny. They rebranded to System in Processor.
System
I thought it was System in Package.
I had to make David explain this when we were walking to lunch yesterday. I was like, did they pronounce chip just... Was I confused? No, they said it again. That's not right. Okay, SIP. Okay,
yeah. Instead of SOC.
Yeah, SOC. SIP. But that
like
is apparently a big performance upgrade and a big efficiency upgrade. It processes things faster, makes the watch overall faster, and that's great. Processes data from the sensors faster, which is important, which we'll get to in a second. And that, because it's more efficient, Apple says that'll allow them to crank up the brightness of the displays even brighter. So the S9 or the Series 9 will get up to 2,000 nits, and the Ultra will get up to 3,000 nits, which makes it the brightest screen Apple has ever put in anything.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I can't wait to use it outside.
Very smart to do that in a very small package first, and then eventually probably grow it up because it's going to get hot.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to talk too much about the Ultra. We'll talk about brightness on Ultra later. We'll stick with S9.
It is interesting to me that they have this new processor. It's kind of a big deal because they almost reused the same processor over and over and over again. They named it differently.
Yeah.
But it was pretty similar. This year's a pretty big upgrade. I would think they would use those efficiency gains for better battery life on the regular Apple
So
Watch.
it's funny, they've been quoting this like 18-hour battery life for like every generation of Apple Watch for years.
Yeah.
And then the Ultra has like the 36-hour or whatever with low power mode, but it's always the same. And it seems like because they don't incrementally improve it every year, or they don't aim for some big battery bump every year, that seems like that's fine.
Yeah.
They haven't improved it, they haven't changed it. So it seems like if they get efficiency gains, they'll turn them into brighter screen or something else before they turn it into more battery.
But I think most people just want better battery life.
I agree. It's the main reason I use the Ultra, is because I don't have to think about battery as much. I get a day or two full before I have to think about charging.
Yeah.
But that's just me. It's also a huge watch.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. But yeah, battery life is the same. But the one interesting thing really is, I think it's the most interesting thing, double tap. Okay. So double tap. Double tap is a gesture that you do with the hand that is wearing the watch, where in thin air you simply double tap your finger and your thumb and index finger together, and that will select whatever you're choosing, whatever's happening on the watch. So whatever the primary button is in the app on the watch. So if you have a FaceTime call incoming and you double tap your fingers together, it will accept the call on the watch. If you have a timer that just ended, double tap, it'll stop the timer. All kinds of stuff like that. First of all, I got to try it in the hands-on area. They put a watch on my wrist and they said, go ahead and try it. And it worked very, very well in person on a watch I'd never worn before. So I thought that was super cool.
I did notice that when you put it on, it just like worked immediately.
Right away.
Which like brings me back to, do you remember the, what was the LG phone with like the hand waving over? The exact opposite experience of like
G7 thing.
I think so. Yeah, it was at that like penthouse in New York.
It
It
had
was,
the glucose.
the like the vein ID.
Yeah, and oh my god, I have so many videos.
There's videos of just people like
doing this over the phone, like
just nothing is working, and all the PR people at LG are just like, no, just maybe a little more like this.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. It's not. This is like you put the watch on and it just works.
I think this is one of those features that's shipping like a month after release or something.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
Oh.
So maybe it's not perfect yet, but
It says available next month. They said.
Yeah,
You know,
but it worked pretty well for me. The other interesting thing about that, though, is a lot of you might be typing already, so you can stop typing, saying, this isn't technically new. This has existed as an accessibility feature in the Apple Watch for years. It's being graduated to a primary feature for everyone. For a couple of reasons. I think the one that stands out is this is also the selection mechanism for Apple Vision Pro.
Yep.
Tapping your fingers together while looking at something on the screen selects what you're looking at. And I think if you get people used to that gesture early,
I can get the old
great. I don't know what that means if you're wearing the watch and Vision Pro at the same time. That might be kind of funny. I don't know what happens.
That's an interesting point.
I mean, I think Apple wants a lot of cohesiveness in how you interact with its devices, right? Pinch to zoom is like you do that on the Mac trackpad, you do that on the iPhone, you do it on everything. Hold, like all their ways that you interact with their devices. So if they can start onloading people right now with the Apple Watch.
Still in one piece, I see.
Realized
It was all too
they
easy.
make a new mouse.
Pinch mouse.
It's gonna have to be a pinch gesture.
Well, they don't want to make a mouse because everything is just going to be floating.
Interesting.
Yeah.
She looks important.
Yeah.
But the other interesting thing about so you've been able to do that, but this feature is not coming to older Apple Watches, and I found that kind of curious because it's in the accessibility settings. Why isn't it also graduating to a primary feature? Apple says when asked about that, basically the new S9 system on a chip is fast enough that it's able to process all the information from those same sensors, the accelerometer, the gyroscope, the heart rate sensor, faster in a way that they're comfortable making it a primary gesture.
But it seems I cannot
where
stop
this
you.
accessibility
So I will come
feature
with
was
and nag you
not
until you
primary.
decide to abandon the
It
idea
does seem
of
better.
stealing
Like
a
I think
chest
Adam
from
and
the
Ellis had it pulled up
Khalifas.
on
When
their
you say it
watches when
like
we
that,
got back.
doesn't work
Are
well.
we
It's
going?
not. It's nowhere near as good.
Whoa.
I was
I have yet to have
This
it
is
fail
a
a
mad
single
You
plan,
time.
both have
Ryzen.
showed me, and it's failed
Even
both
if
times. You
you
guys have showed me.
Text me right now. Text me right now.
What
I'll
then?
prove it. I'll do it on
I was
camera.
using it on my
Forget about
watch,
us?
and it was
Of course not.
doing
I've
it
only been
very
using
well.
it to dismiss
their
things.
interests
are
Any
our
other action
interests.
kind of is
You,
giving like hit or
me, and
miss.
every
But
other
anytime I get a
street dweller who has been
notification, it
cast
typically allows
aside.
to swipe down, hit
Living
dismiss,
off
do that
scraps
whole
and
thing.
dirty
I can just
water.
double tap it and it goes
I
away.
can be
I
an
will also say
instrument
that
that sees us
this
out of that life.
detection does not work
That
as well
sees
as
that
the
Jacid can
tap.
use his talents to be a real
I think the idea though is it's like if you have something going on in your other hand, which happens sometimes. Like normally for me the move is the nose. I don't know how many of you guys do that.
I do
Yeah.
this so much, dude.
But
I do that all the
phone
time when
just
I'm
like-
keeping bees.
In the event, in the event, it was so funny how
hear what you're
when they were
saying,
talking about, they're
Basim.
like, yeah, if you're walking the
But you paint a
dog or you're
portrait of a
drinking
world that
coffee,
cannot
and then in the
exist.
cinematic, it was
That
like
is
a
where
man
we
handling a
disagree.
swarm of bees, like way more extreme.
The dog walk is a totally reasonable aspect
Yeah.
for that. Like that's exactly what I thought. Like,
I've
walking
done that
dog
before.
and needing to
Yeah.
The Winter
port-
Palace.
carrying something with the other.
Come,
Groceries.
this way.
There was one
right behind you.
dismissing your alarm with double tap.
That's dangerous.
That's so dangerous.
That's so
I'm just
I do that in
subconsciously
my
going
sleep.
to like
It's gonna be muscle memory.
None of you guys are gonna show up to work anymore because it's gonna be noon and you're gonna be like, I've been double tapping the snooze all morning.
That is a dangerous one. I mean, so there's kind of a moment where you raise to wake, and then it lights up, then you double tap. So if you're just like hand resting on the couch, double tap. That's
Let
not
us
gonna
wait
do
for nightfall.
it. I think.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
Please come to work.
I did kind of like Siri plus health, where you can use Siri to talk
Yes.
about things like where your move ring's at and like how you slept last night, like logging data with your voice, I think, was kind of cool. Even though I haven't used an Apple Watch, but like the workout stuff was my favorite part with it.
On-device Siri is a pretty big deal.
I think the on-device stuff, because of that, made it really cool. So it's working so much faster.
Yeah, I forgot to mention the watch actually has more memory. I think it's double the memory built in now. So they're able to do all of Siri's queries on device.
Yeah.
And because it's doing everything on device and it's secure, of course you can enable more stuff like ask me about my own health data. It never has to go to the cloud. Because right now it does a round trip. Whatever you ask it.
Yeah.
Obviously, if I ask the weather in Cupertino, it's going to look up the weather and bring it back down to you. But if I just want to know something like when's my next calendar event, something like that, the fact that it could just sit there spinning, like your internet's not good enough to tell you what's on your phone, like that was kind of crazy.
I think that's really big.
Yeah,
like I think that's a huge quality of life upgrade.
When Google added this to Google Assistant, it was huge.
It got way faster too.
Yeah, it got way faster. I remember they did this like 4 years ago maybe, and I remember they were like, we used machine learning to condense the machine learning model to be able to fit on your phone.
What up, dog?
Yeah. So I think they're doing the same thing here, which is great.
Does this make you guys use Siri more?
No.
I
mean, okay, I'm editing the video right now where the line I have is like, Siri isn't good yet, but it'll be bad way faster.
Yeah.
Which is better, but not good
I think
yet.
it depends on what you use it for, right? Because I recently started getting a little bit integrated into the HomeKit ecosystem just to test it out at home. Because I have these like Matter-enabled
That's probably the perfect thing for it to be better at.
I think so. Yes, because I just ask it to turn on my lights or open my blinds, and those are pretty basic queries. But it's more of the like Googling things that it's bad at.
Well, that's why I think this will be good inside the health app, though.
Yes.
Like I think this will work.
Absolutely.
So I had two more quick things. I had second gen ultra wideband, which haptic plus audio feedback, trying to find your phone. As someone who leaves my phone literally everywhere, that sounds awesome.
On that note, they also tripled. The second gen ultra wideband has tripled the range.
Oh, really?
So now you can start finding the thing 3 times further away than you could before, and if you use Find My Friends and you're like in a market or
I thought that was really cool.
It's way easier to find people that you know. So if they have either an iPhone 15, which also has the second generation UWB chip.
Say that again.
Second generation UWB
Say that 3 times.
chip.
There it is. Yeah.
Or an Apple Watch Series 9 2, then you can sort of like navigate and find your people, which is really helpful. Yeah. And give it to your kid.
Find them anywhere.
Find my child.
And then the other thing I had, you talked about brightness, but also down to 1 nit for a dark room. I thought was kind of cool. Just like
the Apple Watch, I want to know the current number because it gets really dim right now. Like if you're in a nighttime environment.
Yeah.
But 1 nit. Like
1 nit is nice. There's so many times just in like in bed, no matter what like device I have, no matter how dark I put it, it still feels like I am being blinded by it. So like I'll take anything.
3,000 nits is better than the sun, so you're good.
Might be. So that's the watches. I think that's basically. I mean, the other interesting like background thing is, and we'll talk about sustainability. Do you want to talk about that now?
I think we can talk. That's where wait before though. They showed some new watch bands.
Yeah.
The tan Nike silicone sports band with like the orange and brown dots.
Do you know what those dots are?
No.
Dirt.
Ground up, recycled other bands.
That's
no
cool.
way.
Yeah. It looks cool. I don't care what it is. It looks sick.
That's
I would.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think that's the segue to sustainability because Apple had this extensive section on sustainability, this skit on sustainability. They mentioned it countless times within individual product announcements. But one of the things is there's no more leather products at all in any of Apple's lineup at all. Which, as you're probably thinking, is like, well, a lot of watch bands are leather, aren't they? So there's a ton of new watch bands and a ton of new fibers and threads and recycled materials. And Nike has a recycled band, and Hermes, or however you say it, has a bunch of new bands that are not leather either. So that's cool. But yeah, wow, they went pretty ham on sustainability.
They changed it to be called fine woven,
and it's like
it's a really
finely
tight
woven mesh that is kind of looks like leathery in a way.
I mean, I've held them all. None of them to me feel like leather. They just feel different.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you want to even get into the trap of making something that feels as close to leather as possible because it's never going to like feel like leather. So I just think like go for other feels, go for other materials. If you want leather, you can get leather, but like that's you won't get it from Apple anymore.
Something we were talking about was they're also replacing the leather in the Apple Store. for like the seats. They sit on little cubes that have leather inside of them. They're getting rid of them.
Gentle. I understand.
They're replacing them with fine woven seats. And we were talking about like, is this less sustainable because they're getting rid of leather and then shipping more stuff over to the Apple
Genuine
Watch
question. Genuine question. If you have leather seats in thousands of stores, what's more carbon neutral? Leaving them there, or getting rid of them all and shipping a bunch of non-leather things there?
Yeah.
I understand the statement. They don't want to have leather appear in anything. They don't want to have leather anywhere. But that thought did cross my mind.
It also, it's like a lot of quote-unquote like vegan leather or leather alternatives are just petroleum products. You know, like those plastics and petroleum products. So I don't know what their
the fine woven is.
hurry.
I
think it seems like a lot.
It's probably like a.
I don't remember a lot. It seemed like recycled was used of term used very
recycled dinosaur
often.
bone juice though.
I hadn't thought. I want to look more into this. Like, there is a lot of genuinely good stuff being done between the recycled metals, the recycled plastics. They were able to announce that the Apple Watch is their first, quote, carbon neutral product. Now, you can't technically make a carbon zero product, but they're able to offset the last little bit of carbon emissions that they know it contributes. So it's their first carbon neutral product, and they want to get the whole company and everything they do to be carbon neutral by 2030. I think there's good stuff there. And I had a meeting and a briefing where they introduced way more of this stuff. I just don't know enough about it. I want to do so much more research and talk to more people, but I had this like analogy that I made in the video, which is like, you know, those like TikTok videos where you see a guy like slip a homeless guy a $100 bill, but he's also mic'd up and it's like a video that they're making, and the comments are like, you don't really care about it. You just wanted to get the clicks because you're just doing it to get the video to make you look cool. And it's like, yeah, you're probably right. But also, someone in need just got $100 and now technically a net positive. It's like, okay, Apple's gonna pat themselves on the back with an 8-minute sketch with a ton of slides on every product page and with like all this stuff I'm talking about. And a lot of people will rightfully say like, look, Apple's a huge company with a ton of emissions. It's still true. But the fact that they are making some progress and doing something at all, and making a show about it in general, you might not like that, but that does inspire other companies to try to do the same thing.
Sure.
So I can't get mad at it. I still think it's a net positive.
It's super net positive. And also,
I thought the skit was good.
I liked it. I thought it was funny. I thought it was way better. I thought it was way better than any other company just being like, we're doing this, and this. It was funny. I like seeing Tim Cook. Yeah, I like seeing Tim Cook in a skit. I enjoyed the skit.
Usually it's Craig. We didn't see Craig this time. It was Tim in the skit. Yeah.
You want to guess how long the skit was?
I thought I looked back. It was like 4 minutes.
It's 5.
Yeah, it was 5 minutes.
I think that's reasonable.
It felt.
I think 5 minutes is reasonable.
Before I looked it up, I would have sworn it was 10 minutes.
I like it.
Like a 10-minute YouTube video. It was pretty fun.
I'm
You
curious.
guys are watching too much TikTok. Everything's too long.
I want to look up how many carbon offset credits are integrated into this, because there's a really good John Oliver episode on this. But
Yes, there is.
It's crazy how you can sort of just buy carbon credits, and then that money is supposed to go towards like offsetting carbon by like creating more sustainable things.
I need to find her. She would have gone back home.
There's so many. Again, this gets so complicated.
And in this skit, I think they like kind of brought that up.
They addressed
but it's still, it was addressed a little bit, but
that's why
it's like very hard to know.
It's well,
I think that there are some companies who genuinely are like, this operation's carbon neutral, and it's totally not, but they just bought so many carbon credits that it can technically be on paper, where like Apple is at least doing like sourcing new materials from recycled sources instead of the typical like virgin materials, like actually making parts of their supply chain more sustainable, which they may also buy carbon credits, but it's like all of it adds up.
There was a funny one where they were like, we're able to pack 25% more Apple Watches in each shipment. And I was like, sure. You're also saving money on those shipping costs. Yeah. So it's both good for the environment and good for Apple, which ultimately, like,
it's good.
Cool.
It's ultimately good. Also, the Apple Watch box has always been way too big. That thing should just be smaller in general. You don't need to lay the. It's bigger than the iPhone box. It doesn't need to be laid flat. It can be. That box could still be.
It might have to be laid flat because of the bands.
I don't know.
Those big bands.
But no, you just have it, make it a little circle, make it a little box.
I think it'd be
Oh yeah, circle
I think
square.
the way a lot of watches come is it basically is like wrapped around a piece of plastic and then can come in like
We should pitch that idea to Apple and see if they save
anyone
billions.
listening back there.
I think they're trying to like split the difference because they want to make it feel like a luxury
For sure.
unboxing, and all of those.
It has a
like that.
totally different unboxing feel, and,
Yeah.
and people appreciate that.
I was gonna
for
say
sure.
you should see how like expensive Rolexes come.
Jeez.
I actually have no idea how they
The
come
packaging
back.
is crazy.
Really?
It's
It
like
comes
a
in a
whole thing.
crate.
They like present it to you. The guy has wearing like white gloves, takes it off. It's like a whole thing.
It's like when you see a Bugatti delivery video and they like give you the key in like a briefcase and it's just a tiny key in the center and you're like, all right, great. I get it. Okay. Oh, strike the
What do you want from me?
Before we start with that, you just didn't say that the Series 9 starts at $399.
Oh yeah, same prices. Same prices. Same prices. Also the Ultra's the same price.
Not
$799.
good.
Yep. I think that's it.
Because I need.
We're gonna get to the phones, of course, but before that, we should take a quick break. And before that break, we should do trivia.
The soldiers are hunting all who look like me.
Oh,
That feels very loud.
that's bassy.
Trivia, dude. Okay, first question, pretty straightforward. Which iPhone
Never
was the
is.
first to come with FaceTime?
Oh, I know that. I think.
Ellis knew it
I don't know.
instantly.
I have a guess.
Do you guys know?
I've never had FaceTime.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
I will not be safe
Oh,
for children if I do
no.
not use these guards.
Oh, again.
Here we go.
my way.
iPad.
Yeah, we can just draw it
we'll
on
figure
the-
something
Do you want
out.
to draw it on
We'll
the
figure it
notes
out.
app?
Okay, that works.
We'll figure something out.
We'll all like write it on our.
You guys
phone
have about
and
40
then-
minutes.
and then show it.
Oh, that's a good idea.
How about that?
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Support for this show comes from Wix. So you've probably heard about Wix, right? The website builder, templates, designs, SEO tools, you name it. But have you heard of Wix Studios? It's their new end-to-end platform designed exclusively for agencies and professionals. So with Wix Studio, you have total creative freedom to deliver your most ambitious web visions while still smashing your deadline. So you can create intuitively on Canvas with smart features like no-code animations, or you can take more control with custom CSS and back-end coding. Plus, the most complex layouts can adapt for every screen size. So from a centralized workspace to an on-canvas collaboration to reusing assets across sites, the workflows just make sense. Wix Studios can help make your ideas come to life. And with the most advanced native business solutions from e-com to events, booking, and more, you can cater to every industry. So this is just a glimpse of what's possible with Wix Studio. Find out more at wix.com/studio. All right, welcome back. Let's talk about, I would say, the headlining, the flagship announcement from this
AirPods.
Wonderlist event. It wasn't AirPods, believe it or not. We got something bigger. No, it's the iPhone. We got a new iPhone.
Really?
A bunch of new iPhones.
Oh.
Isn't that exciting?
I guess.
There's a ton of new stuff.
All right.
A ton. Yeah, okay. iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus, iPhone 15 Pro, and iPhone 15 Pro Max. Which should we start with?
The regular ones, so that we can get people to listen to the podcast longer.
Retention.
Yeah.
Good idea. Retention. Okay.
Business.
iPhone 15 and 15 Plus. So these at first, to me, because there's so many things that Apple does where technically they're not new features, they just came from the Pro phone of the previous year. I started to write it off as not a big upgrade, but then the more they got into it, and then once you hold it, it's actually a pretty decent thing. I just don't like that they started off by saying all new design. Because let's be real.
It was your
Metallic iron, bro.
That would be
Slightly more curvy, doesn't it?
It is an updated design. I'll let you use that word. So new colors, a
It is me
new
they set to
curve
punish.
radius on the aluminum all the way around.
I cannot.
And
be-
then, no, it feels different in the hand. It's less sharp. It makes a difference. And then they have this like color infused back glass thing that they're doing, where it's one piece of glass on the back, but it goes from a lighter satin finish, which that's new for the non-Pro phones, satin finish, to a darker version of the same color around the camera bumps. And it's one piece of glass, and it's this sweet. I don't know how they do it.
I want to point out when they were talking about how they did it, they were like dynamic infused ions, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know how you
but
do
I
it.
believe you.
The end result is pretty cool. I love that it's satin now.
I guess with that, what they're saying essentially is that that clear part over the cameras, they can adjust the saturation of it, because before it was just kind of like clear and you kind of got whatever the color came through. So this time, now it looks more like an on purpose
So
color
they
there.
infuse the color into the glass.
Metallic.
Yeah.
But, you know.
It looks solid. There's a new pink. There's a nice yellow.
Yellow.
pink, yellow, blue, green, black.
Black. It's just like the scene. It's kind of cool. I like that they're adding all the fun colors to the.
I like the colors. I like the colors.
All those colors are kind of sound like motion graphics.
Oh, the yeah. Actually, it's
I still love that.
It's just like the
I agree, weirdly enough.
Yeah, no, it's like black, blue, sounds like the ocean to me.
Pastels, totally.
What are you doing?
Okay, so specs-wise, I mean, they're the same size phones, same size screens. What you're getting now is a brighter display. What is it, 2,000 nits now? And you get the dynamic island.
Yep.
And
I called.
You did you?
Did call.
Yeah.
Is that one of the predictions?
Like the
Okay.
recognition.
It was not. It wasn't one of the predictions from last week, but it was one of the predictions from
like last year,
2 months ago.
Okay, so it officially has the dynamic island, and it has the A16 Bionic from the 14 Pro. Right. So we've seen this chip before, but it is an improvement. It's going to be faster, more capable. It now also brings the 48 megapixel primary camera from the iPhone 14 Pro. Yeah, that was a pretty big upgrade. That's a nice camera. That's a bigger sensor. And there's a lot going on with the software. There's a lot going on with the software. And this, I think I kind of missed it during the keynote.
Yeah.
But basically, it's kicking out 24 megapixel images by default now, not 12. Mm-hmm. So what we're doing before is we were getting quad pixel binning. So it was the 48 megapixel cameras, and all of them would give us the normal 12 megapixel shots. And we've seen that everywhere. Quad pixel binning is very common. What Apple's doing is not quite that. Actually, it is that, and also more. Yeah. So they're taking quad pixel binning 12 megapixel image, combining it with individual pixel 48 megapixel shot, merging them together to use some of the light information from the 12 megapixel and the detail information from the 48 megapixel to turn it into a detailed and bright 24 megapixel, sort of like a hybrid fusion photo file. Yeah, and that's the default now.
As if it leaped out of the
I'm realizing how important those
when I was a child.
Because just watching you move your hands around is very confusing.
It's a lot. It's a lot going on, and I kind of missed that at first. But not only are you getting a new sensor and a new image pipeline, but all of that is happening now by default. And God, there's so much more software with the pros, but that's basically the new thing with the cameras.
I liked the portrait mode stuff that they talked about.
That's
yeah,
a new thing,
I think that was pretty cool.
Yeah, next gen portrait mode.
Yeah,
it essentially is automatically capturing depth information, so you don't have to turn on portrait mode.
It's interesting. If there is a person, a cat, or a dog in the picture, it will automatically capture all the depth information
because it recognizes the subject.
Yeah. If there's not, it won't unless you tap on something. If you tap, it captures depth information. So I think it doesn't want to unnecessarily capture that information, but it assumes that when you take pictures of people, cats, or dogs, you would like it.
Yeah.
So you can change the focus at any point.
That I thought was cool, how you can change focus between subjects as well and change the bokeh on that.
This is an interesting thing because we sort of hit this state at one point where you had to make portrait mode because all phones were like the equivalent of F32. But now we're getting these bigger sensors with these like
You
more
look
wide
strong today,
range
Bessie.
sensors. Yeah, so you
Keep
kind of have
training.
this combination now,
Steady,
but
Bessie.
now you can sort of take part of that computational photography that was useful before
I've seen enough.
more and
We
bring
will
it
try
into
again
like
tomorrow.
modern smartphone cameras.
Yeah. Are
now
you
it's just
going to
fun.
live
It's
in
like an
this
enhancement.
It's like an enhancement now.
Yeah.
Instead of a necessity.
It's good. I want to have to test it. We're gonna have to try this stuff out. I mean, I think it'll be good. I also want to mess with the computational, the AI so bad. Like it says, they said dogs, cats, and people.
Is a
So if I
crucial
get like a
step on your
raccoon,
path to initiation.
We're gonna get a
It is
studio
one of the
raccoon,
like a
brotherhood's
ferret, like something
first
that
and
floats,
most
What about like a
you know?
reptile, you know?
rights
I think it would still
to
trigger.
perform
Yeah.
it successfully.
A reptile might be
You
kind
must
I don't know.
first
No,
center
kind of
your
far.
mind,
I think it's only
I think it's for
body,
cats, dogs,
and
and people.
spirit.
But like,
Embrace the
how do you
fear.
know it's a cat?
It's
Quiet
the same thing as Google
Find
Photos.
the stillness.
Like can recognize.
But Google
Let's go.
Photos is not
Yes,
100%
master.
accurate.
No,
It will.
that's true.
I'll get like. I bet if I search my.
Is this gonna be a video?
I think it would be fun to just see how.
Just
far-
go to the zoo.
I
May
don't
I
know
ask
see
you
what will work fine. I mean, you tap to focus on a
Back
ferret,
in
it'll work.
Anbar,
Like if I
at the
just
palace,
pointed at the ferret, we'll
I
go. Oh, it's
witnessed
a cat.
a meeting
I want to
between
know.
the Khalifa
I don't know.
and
I just. I
five
want to
masked
know.
men.
Cardboard shed.
Order members.
That'll work.
The
I bet that
Khalifa was
works.
meant to
That'll work.
protect the
That
object
cutout
they
will be
discovered.
perfect on
Yeah.
it.
But he knew nothing of their
we should
plans
go to the
for
zoo.
it.
I think this is.
He did not even
That would
know
be
them
great
by
studio
name.
video.
How
A
does the
tiger is a
most
cat,
powerful
but like,
man in
is that-
Baghdad bend such a
Anyway.
fearful knee to the
point.
face?
These are all very important questions that need to be answered in the full review, so that's why that's coming later. But yeah, that's a bunch of stuff. I mean, these are relatively important things, but that's not the most important thing about the new iPhone, is it?
The
All
heavy
right.
fog
USB.
was burnt
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
public.
The entire reason I'm
And the
upgrading.
same
Oh,
will be
dang.
true
I
of
forgot
whoever
about that.
succeeds here.
It's got a
The
USB-C port
entire
now.
Khilafah
The
is
iPhone.
under
It was
the
kind of funny looking at the iPhone and seeing that USB port.
Basim,
No matter how many times I
speak with
look
Fulad
at
and
it,
see
it's
if he needs help.
kind of still
We will
processing,
continue
but it's real.
training
I haven't
measures.
plugged
Yes,
in a
Master.
USB-C port to one of the new ones yet, but I think when I will, that's when it'll.
That's
Have you
probably
seen
That's when
Military
I'm like
High
gonna be
in
like.
camp?
He is preparing to receive
when I have one
Good
cable.
day, Tepid.
We've done
Hello.
it.
Which, by the way, it's
We did it.
What troubles
Society
you?
if.
it's not the same.
And
But
we
one
are
cable,
stuck
yeah,
on this
one cable
mental
for
right
the
hand.
Mac,
Maybe I
for
should
the
stop.
iPad, for... There's still other stuff, by the way, that
Have
needs to
you
get
seen
upgraded,
Fulad?
but the new AirPods
Anyways,
case is
I must get back
USB-C,
to
so there's
work.
AirPods Pro case there. Your friend's Android phone, whatever, your laptop, what the Surface laptop you use, like everything, one cable.
Yeah.
How sweet is that?
Convenient. Yeah.
Thank you, Europe.
Oh, and here's another.
I think it's more important for us Android users is I can help my friends with iPhones charge. I know how many times people come over and they're like, "Do you have a charger?" I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's true.
"Yeah." Whoops, it's not that. Sorry.
Yeah,
Claire and I
yeah.
both use an Android, so we're like that weird house.
It
that
is my
does-
Or you're
signature.
like an Uber,
So
and
you
you're
know,
like, "Do you
I
have a
just
charger?"
yell,
Yeah, and they hand it to you, and it's a lightning cable.
That happens a lot to me.
Reminds
I got
me of
offered the
Have
aux
you been
cable
speaking-
in an
Have
Uber
patience.
once.
I will
and he-
I can still use that.
I should-
Just saying. Oh, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you can do.
So do you want the aux? And I
Music
think
through,
for
like,
iPhone users,
man.
like whatever, plug it in.
Wow.
Were you here in San
Two
Francisco
stars.
when that happened?
I think that was in New York.
That's interesting.
Yeah. That's weird.
Other
Wait,
cool thing.
one fact. Oh, are we gonna say the same thing?
You better now. If you don't.
Power out.
We are the same
Yeah,
person.
Okay. There's a fascinating new
That is
feature.
not
No, you go first.
So there is no reverse wireless
It is
charging.
hard to find anything in
But
here.
there is now, through that USB port, reverse wired
No,
charging.
that
So you
is
know you're
not
going to
a
get that
strip
C
of
to C
leather.
cable in the box. You can plug in your AirPods from the iPhone, and it will charge up the AirPods battery from the iPhone battery.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool, but even cooler.
Yes.
You're probably wondering,
Oh, you are.
what happens if I plug in my friend's iPhone to my iPhone?
Do you want to guess?
You mean the order,
Me?
Rabbi?
Yeah.
Nothing.
There's a correct answer here, and there's actually two answers.
It sounds like there's not a correct answer. If there's two
Well,
answers.
there are two different scenarios. One is you plug in your friend's Lightning iPhone with a USB-C to Lightning cable, in which case, every single time, the USB-C iPhone will charge the Lightning.
only thing standing between Alamut
No matter what the battery state is. I say that because if you plug in a
How long will it
USB-C iPhone into another USB-C iPhone, there is a special handshake where the
Really?
phones talk to each other and they go, "How much battery do you have?" And the other one goes, "How much battery do
does
you have?"
construction-
And the one with more
not-
battery will charge the one with less battery.
Yeah.
This is so chaotic. I love it.
Real.
I want to take this where one is at 50 and one is at 51.
That's a great
And then it's just going to turn into like where you call two pizza delivery people. They don't. Oh, they don't. It just
Whichever
starts.
one has it at the beginning. So
Okay.
I want to see like a phone that's at like 52 and a phone that's at 50, and it just pushes all the power.
One will end up at 100 and the other will end up at 1 or whatever.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to explain this to your mom.
I think that's
I
still
look
going to
forward
work.
to it.
Like you just
I
plug
do.
your phone into the other phone.
Yeah, but what if it goes in the other direction? Or what if they have a lightning phone?
Well, you would never do it if you had
They saw
more
it on the
battery than your
commercial. Now I'm
friend.
going to just plug it in.
I think
does
this
training
is
go?
fairly fail-safe.
If you throw
I think it's
fairly
good. I think it's like I have 2% right now. If you plug in your phone into mine, can I get some of your battery? And you plug it in and it works, you're like, damn,
That's pretty cool.
that's pretty solid.
Then
I
they plug
also-
in Andrew's Zen phone and it explodes.
I don't know what happens if you plug in other non-handshake phones.
It pulls up the Apple Store on my phone.
It just says straight to
It
the
looks like you want to buy an iPhone.
Yeah.
By your mom and
So, yeah, that's iPhone 15.
Wait, so the cool thing about that, we were talking about
me to train harder.
This is the way.
Yeah, I usually just like bringing one brick to an event. So I bring a brick that is a MagSafe charger. MagSafe charges my phone, and I put a USB-C cable in the phone and charge like my AirPods with that brick. And therefore, then you can charge everything with your like wired chaining.
Yeah, which is the same thing people with reverse wireless charging were doing. They were just plugging in their phone, turning it over on its face, and then putting the wireless charger earbuds on the back. But like this is wired, so it's 4.5 watts.
Oh, and fun thing we learned is that you could charge things with lightning through the iPhone before? Question mark?
I think so. Yeah,
But it was 1.5 watts.
Yep.
And they moved it to 4.5.
right.
So. Yeah.
So there you go. 4.5 watts to charge your AirPods.
Can I have something irrelevant but happened during the announcement for the iPhone?
Sure. Guess.
I think my favorite transition of their event was during that And it was right after, which also they showed voice isolation for phone calls, I think was kind of cool. But right after that, she's like,
Of course they have apples here.
and there's this box of apples, and it zooms into the road logo, like on the apples, and then goes into this like road, and then he steps out onto the road.
Did you
Like
catch the music at the same time?
I didn't.
The music was, you know, the marimba, like, you know that like classic iPhone.
The bump, banana.
No, it's a the classic iPhone ringtone.
Oh yeah.
It was that, but slowed down. During
Was
that
it? I didn't
transition.
know
It was a
that.
great transition.
It was a great transition. I think that transition and way back into there was one where it went into somebody's watch into like the Apple Fitness room to talk about Siri plus health, and like zoomed into the watch and then was then inside. It was really cool. Apple and the transitions. And they brought drones back.
They did.
I feel like they didn't do drones at Dub Lab. It was all like visual, like color animations. And this was, we were back
Yeah,
into
I had a
drones.
moment where I was watching the event because it was like Tim Cook came out, said good morning 5 times, peaced out, and then we got like the event on the stage. And I had a moment where I was like, do I want events back where it's just like a dude on a stage giving us a live demo? Because that's a different vibe and it's much slower.
Yeah.
But as a person getting entertained, I still really enjoy the cinematic transitions and the fun. It's just so much harder to write fast, as it's happening. It is what it is. I think they're both good.
Yeah.
Do you want to do price? Same.
Oh yeah, sorry. Same price.
Same price.
$799, $899 for iPhone 15 and iPhone 15 Plus.
They also mentioned something at the end. It was like $800 off if you trade in an iPhone
That was
11 or
to
newer.
certain carriers.
To certain carriers.
The carrier deals are insane.
That sounds like a wild deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you get locked in the contract, which is the other part of that deal.
2-year contract or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
Boost Mobile, baby.
I'll give you
Let's
$800 off your
go.
phone, but then you'll be paying a lot
for the next 2 years.
Exactly. Oh, is there also
Too soon, Andrew.
there's one more feature. Roadside assistance via satellite.
Oh, nice.
So
I missed
your
that
leg didn't fall off, but you still need roadside assistance,
Yeah.
and you're in a no service area. You can get roadside assistance
AAA, yeah.
instead of being like 911.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's super. Just knowing you have that is huge.
You know what's
I feel like.
crazy? They played like the sob story video of like 3 different people who got like lost in the Andes and almost froze to death. And I was like, man, as soon as they launched that satellite feature, was that like last year?
Yeah.
They were immediately probably just having people going around being like, have you used this yet? Have
They're
you used this
shooting
yet?
people
Who's used
into the
this?
mountains.
Did someone use this? Yeah. Because they had like 3 or 4 people who were like, I would have died.
I think the stories kind of just get out there. Like if it happens to you,
I'm
you
sure,
just like tweet about it. Like there's an article in the paper. Like people just find that stuff.
Oh, you know what though? They have all the information of everyone that's ever used it.
That's also true.
So they could save somebody and then be like, can we use you in the commercial?
Yeah. You use the button and you get a letter in the mail. Like, did it work?
They're like, well, you did just save my life, so I guess.
Did it work? And do you want to be in the video?
Yeah.
All right, iPhone 15 Pros. We have 2 new phones, and again, iPhone 15 Pro and iPhone 15 Pro Max. They are the same screen sizes, but the first kind of notable interesting thing is the bodies are a little bit smaller and the bezels are a little bit trimmer, so they're a little bit smaller in the hand.
Thanks, man. I've been working out.
Yeah.
That's true.
But also, actually, I'll start with titanium.
Titanium.
They're titanium now.
Is what I felt like about it.
So titanium is both stronger and lighter than stainless steel. I only care about one of those things. It's lighter in the hand. That's really nice to me. I don't think the stronger is going to matter. And my only reason is because my anecdotal evidence of I've dropped my iPhone on the stainless steel rails before. It just gets dented and it's totally fine. That's not the part that breaks.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's the glass that breaks.
Whenever I see stuff like this, it's like it's the glass that's breaking that
Yeah.
I care the most about.
And it's the same glass as last year as far as we can tell. It's ceramic shield and all that, but it's not like you have like thicker like bumpers around the corners or anything. It's like, all right, titanium is lighter and that's better.
Well, and apparently titanium scratches easier, and that's why they did the brush look.
I like the brush look better though.
No, yeah,
that's
it looks-
better than polished anyways.
I agree, because
Yeah.
it gets less fingerprints. And
Yeah.
I think it just looks, but yeah, fingerprints and it's shiny. This just like will always kind of look the same, which I think is way better. And brush metal looks sweet.
Yeah. So that's that. It's also got a
Bro, is this? You didn't say it's space titanium.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
The
Come on.
titanium.
They really
They ripped apart the Mars rover to build these phones.
They said it's class 5 titanium alloy.
Grade 5.
Grade 5.
Grade 5? Sorry, grade. Of course, how can I? Grade
5th grade.
Grade 5. 5th grade titanium alloy.
5G?
Aerospace grade. It's in the Mars rover. I don't know where, but it's in there somewhere. So take that for what you want.
They ended the space shuttle so they could build iPhone 15 Pro.
Had to use the metal, bro.
They mined it.
You recycled the space shuttle.
Yeah.
There's a new set of cameras. We'll talk in depth about the cameras, but there's also an A17 Pro chip, which is a 3-nanometer chip. It's the first time they've used the word Pro in a chip, which leads me to believe they're going to keep doing that.
That is interesting, though.
Yeah.
Because you know how they put the A16 Bionic in the regular one this year? That means next year, the iPhone 16 regular will have a new chip called the A17.
They've given themselves the window to completely reuse the A16 Bionic again, or to make an A17 Bionic that is a step below what the A17 Pro is now.
That will probably be all the ones that got binned because they didn't meet the threshold for what they wanted.
Yeah, one less GPU core. It might happen.
Yeah.
I'm not making a prediction now, but I'm just saying they gave themselves that window.
Yeah,
it could happen. But it is a very, very impressive. I mean, it's a 3-nanometer chip. We haven't seen that anywhere else yet. Allegedly, pretty big performance increases and also efficiency increases. I hope it's better battery life. I mean, I'm always hoping for better battery life, but there's no faster charging, so I'm just hoping for better battery all the time. That A17 Pro chip also has a USB 3 controller on it, which means, if you're paying attention, that the other chip does not.
Yeah.
So the Pro iPhones will have faster wired data transfer speeds, 10 gigabits per second, huge upgrade over USB 2, and the non-Pro iPhones will have the same USB 2.0 speeds that Lightning did, 480 megabits per second, not fast at all. And I said this in the impressions video, like, most people probably don't care. Like, how much do you plug your phone into? Like, do you really transfer that much data? It's going to matter for the Pro phones because people are going to shoot a lot more big files, ProRes video being the one that I interface with the most, and I cannot wait to not have to wait 45 minutes to import 15 minutes of video.
I feel like the thing that takes the longest in autofocus is transferring the footage over. Like, you are so efficient with those, you get them out before I even know you start.
I think
and most of it is you waiting.
They literally take longer to... If you broke down the pie chart of how long it takes, it's like an hour to shoot, an hour to import, and an hour to edit.
Yeah.
It might be more than an hour to import sometimes.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm happy about that. It's not Thunderbolt. I kind of wish they went all the way and gave us Thunderbolt like 20, 30, 40 gigabits per second. Maybe they'll do that in another future version. But
I could see them waiting to push that later too. Like,
big update. Yeah. I mean, it's still very capable. Like, you can now do like Capture One sessions on the iPhone. I would never do this, but you could literally have like your iPhone plugged into a monitor with Capture One running and just like do a live photo shoot with 100 megabyte files flying back and forth.
No, he did not. You're not here to help move these rocks. I am quite sure that I do not.
You can go straight to a hard drive.
I will leave you.
That's true.
Yes.
I think
also enables 4K.
Assalamu alaikum.
You need
I was out on the bench. I can see the.
I know you love 60 FPS.
Well, what I do love is if I use a much faster drive, I want to try this, like a Thunderbolt drive, plug it in, shoot ProRes directly to that from the iPhone, unplug, plug it into my computer, 2-minute import.
I think that'll be faster than just going straight in.
I think it will be
That might
faster.
be a move. Okay, I'm going to try that. Stay tuned to autofocus if I do that.
Yeah.
Nice plug.
Yeah.
The port. The port.
I'm pretty good at that. Yeah. But I think the camera is the last.
I just got that.
Big.
No, I like that.
Well, there's also action.
There's action, but we also haven't talked about the colors that just, you know.
Well, they're not that.
We haven't even talked about ray tracing.
So, we've got a bucket of things. Ray tracing, action button, cameras. Which one are we going to do first?
Just because it's the quickest.
Okay, you
They
can
have
do
ray
4
tracing.
times faster.
There's ray tracing.
All right, so the cameras.
Please explain this. I'm so confused.
So a guy
cameras?
named Ray.
Make sure you target and circle
Okay, so a lot of Android phones. Yeah, are you?
Oh, wait, I thought we were talking about the cameras.
Yes.
Yeah.
Better.
Oh no.
He was joking.
Stab
It was a
first.
pretty bad joke.
What?
I'm just saying.
Wow. Okay.
Well, you're doing it, so just explain ray tracing.
Yeah.
Tell us the story of Raymond Trace.
Yeah, Raymond Trace. Many years ago, in 2018 or so, NVIDIA created this thing called ray tracing.
This is the worst bedtime story.
There are times when you must put more force into our
So generally in video games, they have to like
It will leave
guess
you
where the
exposed.
lighting is supposed to be
Showtime
using
properly.
this these fake
Now
lights
go.
that don't actually emulate real light rays. But doing that math with a
That's
bazillion
it.
photons is really hard. So NVIDIA created this thing called ray tracing, which effectively has accelerated cores to do
Now,
specifically
for defense,
how real
You
light
can parry the
bounces off
attacks of your opponent.
People
After
memed
you
this for a very long
parries,
time because they had this like
your opponent will be
RTX on.
RTX
Try to parry my
Yeah.
attacks.
And they charged a lot more for the cards, and a lot of people would probably be like, this is not that big of a deal.
I think it depends on what games you're playing. There's some where it like
They have it in Minecraft
That's
now.
good.
I didn't know they actually had it.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot of games where it looks a lot better. There's a lot of games where you're like, okay.
And it enabled like
Some
way more
attacks
in terms of
cannot
like
be
flash
parried
reflections and
and
light
must
reflections
be
and stuff like that.
dodged
But I think you have to be playing those
Prepare
like
yourself.
super crazy,
I was playing
like
a Spider-Man game on the
ultra res.
PS5. You swing by the window and like see your
Good work.
reflection.
They could do that way better than it can now, which it wouldn't. But yes, it's on the
That's
iPhone.
the way.
I think the future, when video games are even more immersive, that kind of technology is together.
Well done.
Now, but I think
Now,
Snapdragon chips started.
let us
implementing
try a
it
free
4 years
fight
ago.
together.
So
Use
it coming
what you've
now
learned.
is fun.
I think it was already enabled. It's just 4 times faster on the A17.
Yeah. They showed us a demo that they made specifically for the Pro. And it was
That's my surprise. Well done.
6 or 7 FPS. Yeah. The cool thing though, regarding ray tracing, is there's this whole conversation about Apple and gaming, and they were able to get a
wake up.
bunch of other
Bring
studios
your
to
head
make
back right now.
full-fledged games on the iPhone 7, 15 Pro.
Oh yeah, like Resident Evil 4
Resident Evil
is coming,
Village,
right?
Resident Evil 4, and Assassin's Creed something.
One of the 19.
Yeah.
As a non-gamer,
I don't have an iPhone, so
I don't get. Yeah.
but would you want one
Where did that
now?
come from?
not really. There was a point where they said like, which previously was only able on consoles, PCs,
We are
and
done
Mac.
for
And I just
today.
thought that was funny that they mentioned it was on
Everything
Why must we
PCs
stop?
before Mac.
I learned nothing
But-
from failure.
That was funny. They
I thought
brought
that was
us-
silly.
Yeah.
that-
Requires action.
I like how ray
and
tracing was the
in
easier
equal
thing to
parts.
explain out of the three
You have
options we
made
had,
the
and here
action.
we are still.
Yeah,
Now,
it is funny that
seize
Apple's
the
leaning into
stillness.
gaming and not. They
Do
did this
not
at
rush your
WWDC
proceeding.
with like they're
Be
trying to make it
patient.
easier to game on Macs
Failure
with that metal
is a part
toolkit
of
thing.
progress.
And now you can just
Think
play
on these
full-fledged
words
console games on your
and
phone,
come back
which is like
better.
I don't know if people are gonna do that. But
Yes, master.
I know in other markets,
I will.
like Asia, like in China,
Good.
China's like
See you
something
later.
crazy, like 20% of Apple's revenue comes from China or
A
something.
lot of people play games.
Mobile
on their
gaming
phones.
there is
Mobile games huge.
huge.
Yeah.
So if they can get more people to buy iPhones because of that, they're gonna up their revenue like crazy.
You got games on your phone?
Dude, you have no idea.
All right, cameras.
Hey, you got games on that thing?
I actually think I'm going to just jump in just real quick to the action button. I think that's a pretty quick one.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
a new button in
Yeah.
the same exact spot where the mute switch was on
Are
the
you
Pro
coming,
iPhones.
Bassam?
And it is a
Leave the story for
customizable
later.
button. And I actually really like it because it's really customizable.
Yeah.
It's not to the full extent that, what was that
May I
button
speak
on,
to you in confidence?
was it a,
Google
You
Assistant.
know you
The Bixby button.
I overheard
I think it was
that
an
your
ASUS
hands
phone that let me
speaking
just
to an
literally do
emissary.
whatever I want.
Meant for a
iPhone
hand
6 or
aspect.
Yeah, it's not
We may
full on
come
Zen
under
phone,
attack for
but
dealing with
there is a
rebels
nice
in
little
Baghdad.
UI on the
Are we
iPhone that
safe
lets you
here at Alamo?
choose what you
I
want
do
it to
not
do.
know.
You can hold it down and
But I
it by
pity the
default
people
will
who
still
attack
be your
this
mute
nest of
switch.
beasts.
Or if you want, it can be a
I'll go
bunch of
for
other
what?
stuff. It can be a
Nothing
focus
happening at all on Alamo.
focus mode
And I am
changer.
so
It'll go to a
hungry.
specific focus mode every time you press,
did not make it
or
to
it
the
can
main
be a
canyon.
magnifier, or it can
Excellent.
open
We will start the
the
camera.
voice
Thank
notes
you.
app. It can open a camera.
Follow me.
That's pretty
Flashlight,
cool.
yeah.
Flashlight.
I love the
and-
voice notes app, by the way.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will find that useful.
That's
I will
super
probably
dope.
do camera because that's what I do on every other phone. But the